Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Handforth Town Council meeting of 11th of October 2022. Housekeeping, should there be an alarm, it's real. Make your exit either through the door that way or the door behind me. First item 22-24-1 to receive apologies for absence. Ashley? Thank you. 22-24-2 to note declarations of interest and requests for dispensation to discuss and vote on a matter in which a member or cooperative member has a disclosable pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest. Does any members have any declarations of interest? No? So no, none for myself. Thank you. 22-24-3 open forum. Comment and questions concerning items on the agenda may be put to the council by the public during this period. Matters which in the chairman's view require debate and or a discussion will be referred to the next committee or council meeting as appropriate. Items not pertaining to the agenda may also be taken at this time at the chairman's discretion. Public forum is restricted to 15 minutes and strictly 3 minutes per person unless the chairman allows otherwise. Members of the public, are there any points? Roger.
Going from this article published in the vitality plan for nothing. I think that reflects the fact that very little money is going to be made available for any town centre revitalisation plan. As for the priorities, I find this important. Of a strong cycling and walking connection from the Garden Village to the central.
No. No, Roger. No.
That's the first thing I raised in the online meetings, because obviously we all know that's not the top priority, and I was told that is not a list of priorities, it's a list of things that they want to do. It's not in order of priority at all.
Number 1 doesn't indicate that's the top priority. No. And number 7 doesn't indicate that that's the least.
Not at all.
But there are items like mobilising the business community. What's that? Raising Handforth's profile. Yeah. What's that mean? What's in the street environment? Well, I know the town council was doing its best there with all the gardens and so on. Not much on community assets. And then we get rumours that the railway hotel is going to close. We get rumours that the lake taking more of community assets. The whole thing looks wishy-washy. I hope this council proposes a very strong response to this. Maybe the response should take out still that looks the we're parking very strong.
I respond to that because if you remember, you were involved.
Yes.
Yes, with Alan Murdoch as well, I think.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So you were involved in the drawing up of those plans.
Yes.
In the early evening.
That's my comment about being perhaps
because it's already being done. Or has the best recovery rate of all Cheshire East towns.
During COVID.
Yes, following COVID. Yeah, there are no empty units. And they can't. I've raised all this with them, and I agreed with you to a certain Roger, I've said this. I wanted to know how much this was costing because originally it was costing 100. I think from 2009, 2020. Yeah, and I wanted to know how much extra it would cost us.
Sorry, can yeah. Okay, can I just say we'll get onto it when it gets to the agenda item. But Councillor Sampson.
I just wanted to say that the £100,000 was supposedly being the cost of this vitality plan would be much better spent by the town council. Yeah. Give it to us. Yeah. Why are we having to be subjected to? I didn't call it wishy-washy. I called it something far worse.
But the thing is that that 100,000 is across all of Cheshire East. It's not just Handforth. So. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know why we needed.
Anyway, thank you. Thank you, Roger.
Yeah. I mean, Councillor Moore, a decent plan, and it didn't cost us 100,000.
Yeah. Okay.
No, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. And did you have something else, Roger?
Yeah. Place, and I'm very supportive. Just want to point out that as far as to three distinct open green spaces is one of those. 10 such spaces shown in map 7 of the neighbourhood plan. And playing. Secondly, there are incidental open spaces. There are 12 such spaces shown. Of weeks near one of those two categories may undergo a period of expansion because they've got the garden village. There are ways to have a month or incidental open spaces and they final category of open space. That includes the fields north of the A line and the offshore grounds of Belfry Hotel, the hotel, and some north of Clay Lane, both east and west, and immediately north of the road, that's the pocket line with virgins on it, just at the garden. Old house site,
No,
and
no, it isn't. No house is being built on. Taken over by a housing association, 48 affordable.
going ahead.
Yes.
And there's the old bridge park, and possibly going there to the south. So, whether to what extent some of these.
Okay. Thank you, Roger. No more. Thank you. 22-24-4 to approve and sign the minutes of the Town Council meeting of 13th of September. Does anybody have any issues with those minutes?
Yes, I have actually spoken to Ashley about this, but my apologies were not noted, and they will be on because I did give my apologies for not being there. And the other one, there's a spelling mistake on page 3. I think it's page 3. It's the word referred. Yeah, 30 reports of concern for safety. Referred is spelled incorrectly. That's it. Nothing dramatic.
Thank you. Nothing else? No? Another proposal to you? And second, thank you. Have a vote in favour, please. Okay, thank you. 22-24-5 to receive a report from the PCSO. Councillor Smith.
I will be at the next meeting.
Oh, it's got this cloak of invisibility on.
Since the last meeting, we've had a state of theft of pedal cycles from the house. We've had no burglary or vehicle crime. We are gearing up for Halloween and bonfire night. Operation Treacle will be running from the middle of this month, which will focus on increased patrols around areas we have previously had. State inspection with fire service and hopefully housing. If the bonfire is created and done so with inappropriate or dangerous materials, Cheshire Fire have agreed to bring an engine down the circuit before. I think that's referring to the usual bonfire. All of the schools will be visited and all key stage 2 children spoken to regarding acceptable behaviour and consequences. Local shops will be visited in the build-up with regard to selling eggs and flour to young people. I am going to ask him the point there about schools being visited and all key stage 2 children so having acceptable behaviour. That he goes and speaks to the older children as well, because we've had quite a number of incidents across Handful and Shore.
Antisocial behaviour.
Well, yeah, very antisocial behaviour. So I think it'd be a good idea. Consequences. And that's it. Darren?
Thank you. Item 22-24-6 to approve and sign the order of payments for October 2022. Sorry, does anybody have any comments? Propose, accept. Thank you. Can I have a vote in favour, please? Unanimous. Thank you. 22-24-7 motion to receive recommendation from the HTC Finance Committee and to agree the 23-24 financial year budget. Madam Chair.
We had a finance meeting this evening and it went well. I've got some amendments to go in the budget for 23-24 that were raised by councillors. Going to investigate it. Sorry, but we're hoping that the South NI tax is laid out in a better format. Also, there were a number of other items that I know that Councillor John amended. We put some money in for the coronation. They found out it's going to be 6th of May.
June.
May.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah. 6th of May. Anyway, what I wanted.
Day after the election.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still
It's a Friday.
It's a Friday, isn't it?
It's a Friday.
It's 16,
And I know the chair rating this time to 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Councillor Moore? You're not in agreement.
Sorry?
You're not in agreement.
Yes, I'm in agreement. Sorry, I thought you said anything else. I meant no, nothing
sorry.
else.
No.
So with that in mind, I have a proposer to accept the 20 for handbook.
Could I just ask a question just on the
Of course, sorry.
sorry, Councillor Sampson, on the line that jumped out at me with the war memorial costs in the budget are changing. Does the proposed figure for 23-24 reflect what we think is the ongoing costs based upon our kind of recent acceptance, kind of taking over it, or it looks like a fairly significant change in funds allocated to that line?
No, I think Sam, sorry, Councillor Bill Ward, I think that the amount that's been put in there is relevant to what is needed.
Okay, so that's what we think is the running
yearly
costs
basis.
generally.
It will be covered by insurance if it's damaged in any shape or form.
Okay.
Is that what you wanted?
Yes, I kind of appreciate we've recently taken it on, so we're probably learning more about how much it actually costs to maintain it. But I just wanted to check we weren't kind of tightening the belt on that unnecessarily.
I'll just say that we've spoken with the ex-chair of the War Memorial. Show you the main for what we need.
Brilliant. Okay.
If required, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There is one. There was one other. Sorry.
And that's it. Thank
There
you.
was one other item that I would have liked to have seen in the budget next year, like some form of item. On the War Memorial line. I don't know how much it would cost.
Well, something.
I know the one at Style looks really, really nice. Like uplighters that shine instead of down.
They're about £8,000. Yes.
Can I
22-24-8 to receive a recommendation from the HTC Finance Committee and agree to set the 23-24 financial year precept.
I just say, Councillor John Smith has done a lot of work on this, and he presented it to the Finance Committee, and hopefully will now present it to the full council. Thank you, Councillor Smith.
Thank you. Just looking for my correct pieces of paper. Please excuse me a second. No, that hasn't got my scroll on it. Which are here. Okay. The facts are that the precept hadn't been changed since the council was inaugurated in 2011. It hasn't. Sorry, up to 2021 it hadn't changed. It was changed, and sorry, the 21. No, it's 22-23 we're looking at. Yes, yeah. The calculation of the precept is based on the number of homes within the town council. The number of households in Cheshire East between 2011 and 2021 increased by 9.7%, from 160,000 to 175,000. We received today from Lawrence Whitaker at the Cheshire East the calculation that he had for how many homes there were in Handforth for the 22-23 year, and he came up with 3198. We had, from our calculation, using the 9.7% increase, 3236, so it's 38 homes different, which is due to the fact that theirs is only a financial year and it's based on slightly different criteria. However, if we take his number, 3198, and we add in the homes from Anvil, they estimate that by March 23, there will be 131 homes there, which brings us to 3329 homes, which is very, very close to the 22-23 figure of 3350. Then when we add in the homes at the sanctuary, 170, plus, and this is for the second year, 23-24, plus another 100 Anvil homes on Merriton Road, that's another 270, which brings the total homes to 3599. Added to that, the Sunfield, which is committed development, 175, brings us to a total for the Handforth Town Council of 3774 homes, which stacks up with the 3700, which we calculated based on the original numbers. What we need to take into account is the fact that we will be a bigger council by the time this budget is enacted, and that on the horizon is the growth village, which will account for more people, and there will be 11 members of Handforth Town Council, so we would expect there to be more taking place. The recommendation is that for 23-24 we request a precept of 110,000, which would equate to £29.73 per household per year. It's actually £2.48 per calendar month per household. And that's the recommendation that the Finance Committee are bringing forward to the main council. Any questions?
Could you confirm what it is per home per year at the moment?
For 22-23, £28.36.
Okay. So
And £2.36 per calendar month, if you will, compared to £2.48 per calendar month. So it's 12p different.
I mean, the thought I just had when I was listening to the Finance Committee before is we've got more I remember the precept being increased in the last 6 months,
Yeah,
from my
well,
memory.
for 22-23, we increased it the previous year when we set that budget. So
Yeah,
it was agreed in 21-22 to increase it for the year 22-23.
and we're proposing increasing it again
Yes. Yes.
within 6 months of increasing it before.
Yes. But because we, yeah, per year.
I've only been in post for a year. Yeah. So, but
Goes April to March.
yeah, okay. But we've got more houses contributing.
Yes.
We're going from 7 to 11 councillors, but actually that's not going to cost us anything, is it? Because councillors don't get paid.
True, but there will be, I would hope, more activity with extra councillors that would be looking for possible projects that will require funding.
Mhm. We should get more money in with more homes within Handful, shouldn't we?
Correct.
But I find it a little bit difficult to kind of digest increasing it twice in consecutive years, unless we've got particular plans for the money.
You're taking on a liability.
In the youth centre. I thought our discussion at the last meeting was that the youth centre would potentially kind of.
There are possible. The budget that we have currently is a tight one, but this would give that little bit of comfort, so that should something come out of the woodwork, perhaps what we're discussing, the cold weather issues, electricity issues, power costs. I'm not saying that that is something that the town council would be making donations for, but the town council might be subject to those increases. As the same as every member.
Okay.
I mean,
Sure.
Councillor Millward, it's going from 55 pence per week to 57. It's not even a cup of coffee.
So per week, so we're going from £28.36 to £29.73.
No, that's per month.
£10.36 is per annum,
Per annum,
Yeah,
and that's going to £29.73.
per annum again.
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Which is £2.36 per month versus £2.48. Going up to 57.
What percentage does that equate to?
Sorry?
I just wonder what percentage we're looking at increasing.
Oh,
All of it to be worked out that way.
No.
You can't ask for a percentage. You
No.
have to ask for a definite amount.
No, I mean, is that not how it's calculated on council tax bill?
No.
It's calculated on how much you request. So you can request anything from 0 to.
No, but the precept that states it on the council tax bill, saying whether it's a 5-bedroom detached or a 2-bedroom.
It's banded.
It's banded.
It's banded.
Yeah.
So you're working on average. You are working on average.
no, it's an average.
No, it's an
Yeah.
average.
It's an average.
Yeah.
Because you can't. It's too complicated. On an average, overall, if that's the best way.
So on an average, it's slightly short of 5% increase, which is well within inflation anyway. So that probably justifies it just on a cost basis.
And although we don't compare ourselves with any other councils, I think we've been extremely prudent since the conception of the council. When, if you looked at, we don't want to go bankrupt, it's always good to have a slightly more comfort zone to actually approach anything that could be hit to us, because we don't know what this energy crisis is going to do next year. I hope and pray that it will even itself out and everybody can manage. I mean, I went through this with Councillor John Smith, and I think 57 pence a week for anybody is, it's not even a cup of coffee.
Yeah, yeah. Is that more per household than here? Okay. Oh, makes well. I imagine the banding is might be a bit higher.
I understand where you're coming from.
But the main factor that drives the cost or the value of the precept is how many homes there are which are paying council tax. So we've linked. That's why we've linked it to that, so that it supports it. Supports that amount.
Yes, yeah. It's like a 2p difference, unfortunately.
It's a
Whereas we couldn't get it bang on.
So, does that answer your questions?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Okay. Can I have a proposal to accept the recommendation for the 23-24 financial year precept? Thank you. Second, please. Thank you. All those in favour? Thank you. Uh, 22-24-9 to agree the HTC response to the Cheshire Town Centre Vitality Plan for Hanforth and to submit the response to the current Cheshire survey. I was coerced into producing the actual my copy. I think there's one of these for all councillors.
I put one in the back for you, didn't I?
Yes.
And basically, do you just want to say how important you rate this section?
So I'll just run through
My section.
my views.
So,
Yes.
what do you think?
Straightforward. Deliver strong cycling and walking. Yeah, it's very important. Circle that one. Enhance the street environment on Wimslow Road. Well, it's not very important, I don't think, because it looks pretty good anyway, I think. Hanforth, lots of grass, trees. Exactly. I'm sure we'll find out about it. 3, making more of the paddock and Merriton Park, which they were told about that it's Merriton Road Park, but they decided not to do that. And that they're, I don't know, it's not come out on the print then. Yes.
They have no jurisdiction over that.
Yes, that's right. It's fairly important, but we can live without it.
You have jurisdiction over the hedge
Uh,
that they're talking about.
Now, raising Hanforth's profile, I don't think that's very important because we're doing all the other stuff that supports that anyway. I don't think we managed to get rid of the Hanforth profile, didn't we? The one that went viral.
I think you're quite right. Absolutely right.
But-
The council's website is rubbish. Hopefully that will change. Nobody here agreed with that, but you obviously all think it's wonderful. It isn't. It's got nothing to do
don't
with
say
it.
it's wonderful.
It's basically, they are absolutely spot on with what they said there.
Yeah,
I-
but
in my
Councillor
opinion.
Moore, I thought you had a working group about the new
We have got
website.
a working group.
Oh, there you go.
The working group are working.
Well, there you go. So we're going to try and upgrade our profile by having an absolute fabulous website.
Well, let's face it, we need to, because a huge percentage of the population in Hampton don't even know we have a town council.
I know.
There's something going wrong somewhere.
Mobilising the business community. I didn't quite understand that. He was talking about sponsorship materials, technical support and volunteers. How important do I think mobilising the business community is for the vitality of Amforth? Well, we tend to get on with it ourselves, don't we? A lot of businesses either can't afford the time or the money.
Very difficult to get hold of the business community.
Yes.
The shops are all tenanted, so the
Yeah.
owners and people who actually make the decisions are not available.
Yeah.
I've tried,
It's when you had that group, didn't you? The Amforth Traders group, which
and there was absolutely zero interest
Yes.
apart from the same old usual people.
and making more of community assets. Yeah, I think that's important. Any asset that we can use to make them better, and we will do.
Can I just say about the pavilion? Old pavilion wasn't a feasible option, but
Yes.
We raised that in the last meeting.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
said that that was one group's opinion and hasn't been backed up by anything that could be presented
Yeah.
in written format.
And final one, public transport. Well, it's, deliver a bus-only greenway connection to the Garden Village. Well, that's already on the Engine of the North discussions. Accessibility to the Hampthorne station. Well, yeah, we've got a project ongoing with that, with the lifts, and widen the footway on Station Road, which again is incorporated into the requirement for the lifts to get access for those who are not able. And we already support the public transport. We've got 10k in the budget, so we're already doing that. Please feel free to fill in as you require, because I think it should be individual.
Yeah, feel free to submit your own.
Individual councillors.
Yeah.
We're not going to get agreement across the table, are we? So everyone's got their own views. Please submit it as you wish.
Chair, can I just?
when they mentioned the public consultation, I asked that we do it on the same basis as we did for the community. I.e., they put people in the paddock to talk to residents. If you've not got, like Sue was saying, if you haven't got the internet on the town council website, they're not going to know about this consultation. So they're going to get so few responses that it's just a box ticking exercise as far as they've gone ahead and done what they're doing anyway. And at the end of the day, whatever the public consultation comes up with in order of priorities, I know a lot of people have criticised saying that they are priorities, which I was told they're not priorities. They're just at the end of the day, that wish list, however it's structured, they've then got to go out and find the money for it, because there is no money for it.
Well, that was my question.
And apply for funding from outside sources. So I don't see the point of it.
Well, I disagree entirely with you there, because the whole point is that if we have some sort of plan, should funding become available, then with a plan already in place, you can apply for funding and you can say you have a plan. If you don't have any plan in place, you've got to then produce a plan to support any application that you might make. Now, this is all pie in the sky, but this has been done for us. And there are, I agree, parts of it are wishy-washy, but there are parts of it that are really quite good. And I welcome it, because I think they've pointed in the right direction in quite a number of areas. And if we vote to accept it and take it on board, then it's there as a document that can be used in the future. And if you want to make alterations to it or whatever, or miss things out, then that's got to come out into in the consultation. But if we just sack it off, then should anything become available, we won't be able to apply for it unless you come up with some sort of plan behind it, like a business plan. And this is what it is. It's a business plan, isn't it?
Hotspots of it.
Sorry?
The neighbourhood plan. Have a plan.
Yeah, we have a plan,
What-
yeah,
what-
but it's not a vitality
What
plan.
would you
It's
apply
not.
for money for on this wish list?
Well, I've no idea. But what I'm saying is, if there's something comes up, like we decide we want to open up the back of the paddock and make that a bigger entrance to Meriton Road Park, where's the money going to come from? You know, it's those sort of things. It's planting more trees, making the centre of Hamforth, the paddock, which obviously we'd have to speak to Emerson's about. But if there's anything along those lines, anything that comes in there and you want to apply for it, then you can do when you've got a plan. If you don't have a plan, then don't bother. You know, you may as well not bother applying for anything because you won't get it. Because I'll tell you what, you won't get anybody to write a plan in that detail.
Chair, could I just ask, if we agree to go with this vitality plan, will it cost the town council any money?
Well, no one else is paying for it. Cheshire East are not paying for it. This group who put this together, they've been funded to the tune of £100,000 over all, is it 11 towns that are included. There's not going to be a lot of cash, I don't think, available for any of these actual plans.
No, but that doesn't mean to say there won't be cash available in the future.
Yeah, but can I ask, are we going to be billed for this?
No.
Right, that's fine.
There's no cost to the council.
That's what I'm needing to ask.
But in that
So
case,
if it's free, let's just go with it and amend it accordingly as we go along.
it's being created already without any expense from the council
Yeah.
being put into it. So the process, as I understand, is that your public can put in their thoughts and then it will be finalised. And you know that's basically the process, isn't it? We don't necessarily need to come to any kind of group consensus here. We just need to encourage as many people to put their comments in as possible. And the process will follow its natural course.
Is it on the website, Ash? Is it on Facebook? Is it on Facebook? Is there any? Is there any comments? Are there any hard copies in the library?
Yeah, because I look in the library, it's under the library.
Can we put notices in the notice board?
Yeah, to see if anybody needs help.
They didn't give you any promotion.
No, that's what I was going to say.
That's not being helpful.
No. So maybe you could put something in the
Yeah.
notice boards to say if you need assistance in completing the survey, please contact me. Okay.
It's the 7th or 11th of November.
Yeah, 7th of November.
Have you sent down, sent it back?
Okay.
Please,
Projects.
Obviously got a basic every town. and
Yeah.
Just tweak it.
Yeah. Probably not even looked at what we put forward. But like, I mean, to
The
me,
law says it's free.
it's free,
And you
yeah.
might as well.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
This was produced in August last year.
Sorry?
This was produced in August. No, but not taken into account.
Well, perhaps they're waiting until the consultation, and we should ask the question.
I think one of the main things that they were looking to try and do was increase town centres plans. There's different service centres, there's 11 different towns or parishes. But then what they've not taken into account is the fact that, as Councillor Smith said, Hanforth has got the best record of recovery post-COVID. They're trying, in my view, it's just trying to do one size fits all, which I don't think it will do.
I'd just like to, I want to ruminate really about this plan. It's free, so it's not going to cost us anything. However, if we decide to go with any of the items and support this vitality plan, will there be a cost then?
Unless you want to
Well,
pay something.
well, what I'm trying to find out is, yes, it's free. I don't know who's paid the 100 grand. Cheshire East have paid it. So why have they paid out 100 grand with them not expecting to get something back? Because that definitely is not good financial accounting.
I think it was the recovery.
Yeah, but this isn't recovery.
Yeah, it's all about COVID recovery.
Well,
It
let's
doesn't
face
say
it.
anything about COVID in this. It's nothing
Let's
to do
face
with
it,
COVID.
If
I
we've
think
got town
I've got to
centres
go
that are
with you.
failing, and Hanforth
It's-
isn't it?
Yeah, I agree with you, Sue.
But there are other places, aren't there, that are perhaps not as
Yeah,
come
Crewe.
back as well as we have. If those places, those shops open up and so forth and so on, that is a huge benefit to Cheshire East, because what do they get?
Businessmen. Yeah,
So
good point.
there is
Yeah.
at the back of this a plan from Cheshire East. They may well have got the funding from the government, fair enough, but there is a plan behind it, and Cheshire East would benefit if if things improve,
Thank you.
which by the looks of the news tonight are not going to, but there we are, that's another story.
The motion be the HTC response.
Do
Any
do
suggestions?
do HTC collectively need to respond?
You can respond.
Well, I'm asking, are we better collectively supporting it?
Better just saying, I give a diplomatic
Response.
response.
Okay.
Be interested in going to the next stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
But not really comment.
No.
Um,
It's in place then.
then we can say we backed it well and joint carried on.
I mean, let's face it.
They expect something.
Yeah.
Can I suggest that we collectively support it with a view to having it in place as and when we need it? Can I change that?
With the proviso, of course, that if you do decide to do anything on there, it would have to be a council decision anyway.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So, you're not accepting it per se and saying we're going to do all this. They would have to come up as individual items to whoever's in the council whenever that happens.
Is a thought on, are we going a bit early on this, on the idea of accepting it, bearing in mind, once the public consultation has happened, then the next bit is final draft and adoption further down the line. At this stage, are we not better acknowledging that the draft's been released, wait for the
Perhaps
consultation
that's
to
the question,
happen,
yeah.
and there might be further refinement before that?
Especially
We don't want to accept a draft because it's not the final version.
Especially if we get comments from residents.
Yes.
Which is an important thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. I don't need to come back to consultation again.
Yeah, but we shouldn't necessarily vote to.
This is, for the town council. If it's going to go out to public.
We could make a response as a council, but I think we probably shouldn't make a statement saying we've accepted at this stage because it's not a final version. And if there's lots of comments come back from the public and it gets changed, we've just gone a bit early.
Further down the line,
Yep.
Right,
so we need to know what our residents are saying.
Yeah,
Don't we?
yeah.
So,
Fair enough.
and then
We defer it.
Okay, fair enough.
Shall we when will we get the result to the public?
Should we defer our response until
Until
we've got the public
yeah,
response?
yeah.
Yeah.
Public,
Yeah.
the response from residents.
Do we need to adjust a motion or vote on anything like that? Or
We'll defer it on the basis that you're waiting for the responses.
okay.
Can I propose? Can I propose that we defer it until a more apt
After the
time
public
with information?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll support that.
Thank you. Votes in favour? Thank you. 22-24-10 to agree to spend up to £500 to conduct an open space survey in Hamforth. Councillor Moore.
Yes, this is based on the hopefully new umbrella group, which is Greener Spaces in Hamforth, which covers not only the parks but also the green spaces. We have very little information from residents who use our parks, and I would like to see some surveys carried out. There's like very similar to the ones we did for the last consultation, where we have a name and a postcode, and those people are happy for us to show their comments to the council if necessary, because we really do truly need to know what people want of our parks and open spaces. We know that there is an issue has been raised by certain groups about certain things in Meriton Road Park. Personally, I don't believe it's true, and that's why I would like to see a better reflection, not just Meriton, but Parsonage and Stanley Hall, and see what people think, if there's things they would like to have, things that aren't there, things that they support, things that they don't support. It would be a very basic sort of survey really, but just something that could be put in the public domain for people to see. This is what the people who use Meriton Road Park said. This is what the people that use Stanley Hall Park said. This is what Parsonage Road Park said. That's what I'd like to do.
How do you see it actually functioning?
It would be It would be much along the lines of the last consultation, and I would go into the paddock and hopefully be supported by other councillors to get people's opinions, and go into the parks and speak to people and ask them to fill in surveys. It's got to be in the park or in the open spaces or whatever, because you want to speak to the people that use the green spaces, and that's the only way I can see of doing it. Unless somebody else has an idea, I'll be happy to take it on board. But I know, because I've been in the park quite a lot with Miles, talking to people, talked to quite a lot of people, they'd be very happy to, fill in a survey, because it's, at the end of the day, these are spaces for the residents of Hamforth, and they should all have a say in what's there, not just a select few.
I support it. Yeah, I think it's useful to have that data ourselves. As long as clearly you have to be careful of structuring the survey, but I think it is a valuable thing to do. I would have said no. I appreciate there's a lot of people that might think otherwise, but the logic behind letting anyone who uses the parks provide feedback is actually we're trying to attract people into Handforth anyway. Mhm.
As it's your own survey, it doesn't matter where they come from, to be perfectly honest. Because with the Cheshire East survey,
dedicated to certain things and not being past that. And the question has to be asked why. And quite frankly, I don't think you're going to get answers from council. I think it needs outside force, like the newspaper. Get onto it and say, where is all this money that we've been promised? How much? How much? Million.
Yeah.
What we could do with that money?
Well,
It's a disgrace.
can I suggest that we contact our local MP and tell her, but we need to prove to them that we've got projects waiting to be done. I know you have, but we haven't got them nearly £1 million. I mean, there's the path in Stanley Hall Park. There's the community garden if you want to make it in Meriton Road Park. There's cycle lanes. There's lots that we can spend the money on. But if we get the clout behind Esther McVeigh, because she's very, very good when it's something to do with community.
One of the reasons for the community garden was just not necessarily just for growing produce and stuff, but I don't know whether many of you watch Gardener's World, but there are 1 or 2 projects now of a similar kind of nature where people with dementia are taken and people with mental well-being issues are taken along and they're cared for, looked after, and people that have somebody who might have dementia and look after them at home, and they go and and spend an afternoon a week there, and it proving to be absolutely vital to these people. So it would have effects across the board, not just thinking about growing produce. I'm thinking about the wider community and what could be achieved if you had a community garden. So,
well, the community garden at Oakenclough, it's doing a bon.
Yeah,
it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, well, Andrew has said that he would come along and help. But as I said to John the other day on the phone, I had bigger thoughts than that, and I was hoping that you might get some of the media involved in it, and but that's another story. But anyway, that's it.
Yeah, we voted that. 22/24/11 received notices of correspondence. There's one thing which I've not seen it. It's for the Tommy Atkins to go on the lampposts staggered with or whatever it is. And we'll go through.
You've had an invite to the town council. Invites the mayor last meeting on Saturday.
Did we agree that?
You voted that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Next meeting, 8th of November. First card to not respond. Thank you everyone. Thank you, Roger. Pension.
Also
They've announced it May the 6th tonight, haven't they?
yeah,
definitely.
Oh, I thought
It's the Saturday you're right.
the election before.
Remember when we had the meeting with Engine of the North, saying we were waiting for the Environment Agency's decision,
Yes.
boreholes, etc. I managed to phone